Billy in marriage. Each of you has played an important role in their lives, and each holds a special place in their thoughts and their affections. It is appropriate and meaningful that they call upon all of you to join together in celebrating this important event. We are here to bless Kathy and Billy in this decision and to celebrate with them in their union. Please be seated.
Love, trust, and forgiveness are the foundations of marriage. In marriage, many days will bring happiness, while other days may be sad. But together, two hearts can overcome everything. In marriage, all of the moments won't be exciting or romantic, or sometimes worries and anxiety will be overwhelming. But together, two hearts that accept will find comfort together. Recollections of past joys, pains, and shared feelings will be the glue that holds everything together during even the worst and most insecure moments. Reaching out to each other as a friend and becoming the confidant and companion that the other one needs is the true magic and beauty of any two people together. It's inspiring in each other a dream or a feeling and having faith in each other and not giving up, even when all odds say to quit. It's allowing each other to be vulnerable, to be himself or herself, even when the opinions or thoughts aren't in total agreement, or exactly what you'd like them to be. It's getting involved and showing interest in each other, really listening and being available, the way any best friend should be. Exactly 3 things need to be remembered in a marriage if it is to be a mutual bond of sharing, caring, and loving throughout life. Love, trust, and forgiveness.
Marriage is an act of faith and personal commitment, as well as a spiritual and physical union between a man and a woman. Marriage has been described as the best and most important relationship that can exist between two human beings. Just as we appreciate the beauty of our surroundings, except on those days maybe when it snows 4 feet, right, Billy? Just as we appreciate the beauty of our surroundings on this wonderful day, let us appreciate the beauty of this union, ordained by God and honored by humankind. Kathy and Billy, this day not only signifies a celebration of shared values and commitment, but it attests to the fact that you've chosen to build your future together. Through the sacred vows of marriage, you are saying that who you are and who you want to be can best be achieved through this union. That reading is a great lead-in to some thoughts that I wish to share with you here this afternoon. I'm going to read to you from Ecclesiastes chapter 4. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. And how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Marriage is one of the greatest gifts that God gives us in this life. And I want to share with you today 5 P's from this passage. First is purposeful living. It says 2 are better than 1 because they have a greater return for their work. In my former church, whenever there was a wedding, we always printed a congratulations in the bulletin on the next Sunday. And as so often happens, church secretaries make typos. So they said, "We wish to congratulate John and Betty on their recent welding." And people kind of chuckled. But the reality is, there's more truth than humor in that statement, because when God brings 2 people together to accomplish greater purpose than either could by themselves, just as a welder, when he joins 2 pieces of metal, it's to accomplish something that neither piece could by itself. Number one, purpose. Second one is perseverance. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. There was a young couple, seemed like they had everything going for them. They had promising careers. He was a military man, a career military man, and she was in business and really moving up the corporate ladder. They seemed like the couple that would live happily ever after. Until one day she discovered her eyesight was getting worse and worse and worse. So they went to the eye doctor, and there they discovered that she had a degenerative eye disease, and there was no cure, and that she would very soon be completely blind. She went into a deep depression, and although he had been in the military, he knew that walking alongside of his wife through this would be the most difficult challenge he had ever faced. He encouraged her day after day after day, and finally her sight decreased to the point where she couldn't see at all. She quit going to work, she took a leave, and she went into this depression, and day after day he kept encouraging her. Finally he knew the day had come where she needed to get back on her feet, and so he encouraged her, "You've got to go back to work." She said, "Oh, please, don't make me do it. I'm so scared." He's like, "I'll help you. We can do this together." So first day, they go out and they count the steps from their apartment to the bus stop. And then they wait for the right bus to stop. They count the number of buses. She gets on the bus with him. They count the number of stops till it gets to her office building. She would count the number of steps to the building, and then she went, and then he would grab a taxi, go across the city to his work, come back at the end of the day, and repeat that over and over for like 2 weeks straight, meticulously counting it out. Finally he said, "You know, the day has come for you to do it on your own." She said, "Oh, I'm not ready. Don't make me do it. I'm scared." It's like, "I believe in you. You can do it." So day one comes, she counts the steps, counts the number of bus stops, gets on the bus, counts the number of stops along the way, gets out in front of her office building, and she did it. And she just went on for a week, and on Friday, as she's getting off back home, the bus driver says to her, "I envy you." And she stopped in her tracks. She said, "Are you talking to me?" And the bus driver said, "Yes, I'm talking to you. I envy you." She said, "What do you mean? I'm blind. How can you envy me?" He said, "You have something that many people never experience in their life." She said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I've watched for the past week. As you've left your apartment, there was a man dressed in a uniform who followed about 10 steps behind quietly. Make sure you were okay. Then when you got on, he quietly got on the bus himself. And he rode, and then he quietly made sure you were okay and would blow you a kiss before he went on his way." That's the kind of gift that marriage and love can bring as you walk through life together. Perseverance. Purpose, perseverance. Number 3, pleasure. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And then when we talk about pleasure, we're not just talking about in the bedroom. We're talking about the intimacy of relationship. I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Jerry Maguire. But they have this challenging marriage. And he's trying to start his own business, and it's not going so well. But finally, they get the big contract. And he realizes it's just not the same when he's experiencing it alone. And he calls her. He says, "We just had the biggest night of our life, but it's not complete because you weren't here to share it with me." Pleasure, intimacy. Number 4, protection. The one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. How great is it to go through life and have someone that you know will have your back, always ready to defend you, always ready to encourage you, someone to always protect you. And the fifth one is partnership. He ends this interesting passage talking about two. Two are better than one. If one falls, the other can help. All of this. And he ends it with this interesting statement. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. God is the third strand in your relationship. Somebody once said that, like on a wagon wheel, the closer the spokes get to the center, the closer they get to one another. And I really believe that's true in your relationship. The closer each of you get to God, the closer you will also become to one another. God is that third partner in your relationship. Now, having said that, this is a gift from God. And all of us here today are so filled with joy for both of you, because we care so deeply about both of you. But like any precious gift, you have to take care of it. You can't neglect it, because if you neglect it, it's like a car, Billy. If you neglect it, you know what I mean? It's not going to keep running. It's like that in a marriage. A good marriage is hard work. You have to invest in it. You have to keep bringing her flowers and going on dates and carving out time for one another. You have to keep listening to him and encouraging him. But you have to take care of it. And if you do, it'll be amazing. That leads me to our wine box. I've asked Billy and Kathy to each draft a letter to each other, talking about all the things that they love about each other and all the things that have brought them to this point of committing their lives to each other today. Because there might be some times in the future when you're not feeling it. Anybody here been married any length of time? You know what I'm talking about. Some days you're just not feeling it. But it's on those days that you recognize that love isn't a feeling, it's a commitment. And you need to sometimes remember this moment when you've made that commitment. So if you ever reach a time in your marriage where you're really in a rough point, then I encourage you to open the wine box, make a date, share the bottle of wine, and exchange your letters and read them to remember all the things that brought you to this point of commitment in the first place. And if you never have that troubling time, which we all hope and pray you don't, then on your 10-year anniversary, I encourage you to open the wine box and in celebration of this gift, exchange the letters and remember this special moment right now. So I'm asking them to put these letters, sealed in envelopes, they've not shared them with each other, into the box, and we'll seal the box up until such time as their 10th anniversary, we'll say. How's that? You can make it. There you go. And this is so cool. It's personalized. It's pretty awesome, you guys. Look at that. Now it's time to seal that commitment that you've already made in your hearts by joining your hands and exchanging your vows. Will you, Billy, have Kathy to be your wife? Will you love her, comfort and keep her, and forsaking all others remain true to her as long as you both shall live, if so say, I will. Will you, Kathy, have Billy to be your husband? Will you love him, comfort and keep him, and forsaking all others, remain true to him, as long as you both shall live, if so say, I will. This is the point in the ceremony when I usually talk about the wedding bands being a perfect circle, having no beginning and no end. We all know that these rings do have a beginning. Rock is dug up from the earth, metal is liquefied in a furnace, poured into a mold, cooled, and then painstakingly polished. Something beautiful is made from raw elements. Love is like that. It's hard, difficult work. It comes from humble beginnings made by imperfect beings. It's the process of making something beautiful where there was once nothing at all. Billy, I invite you to place the ring on Kathy's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring as a symbol of my love and my faithfulness. Kathy, I invite you to place the ring on Billy's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring as a symbol of my love and my faithfulness. Kathy and Billy, you have declared your intentions and vows before God in this gathering of your family and friends. On behalf of your loved ones who are here with you today, I would like to mention some of the things that we wish for you. First, we wish for you a love that is rich, deep, and powerful enough to inspire others and to support you both in bringing forward the best that is within you. Second, we wish for you the kind of home that will be a sanctuary for both you and all of those who come into your contact. A place of peace, freedom, vitality, growth, and humor. I think you'll be really good at the humor. Finally, we wish at the end of your lives, you will be able to look back and smile upon the life that you have shared together. Pleased, satisfied, and fulfilled beyond your wildest dreams. Billy and Kathy have made their vows before God and all here present by the joining of hands, by the giving and receiving of rings, and therefore by the power invested in me by the state of Colorado. It's my great pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss your bride. You practiced last night. Now I invite you to turn and face your guests. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Billy and Kathy Mead.